Okay, this is an example using completing the square. So with completing the square, it's got to be in ABC order, equal to 0, and A must equal what? 1. Okay, first thing, does it say equal 0? No, so we got to get it there. How do you do that? Plus 7 to both sides. Where does it go? Good, it's a plain number, so it has to go under the number. Not that. Okay, plus 7. Okay, cancel those out. You bring it down as 8x squared minus 16x minus what? 64. Okay, equals 0. Okay, now if you'll notice, I've got it equal to 0, but A is supposed to equal what? 1. So what would I do? Good, the front number, whatever that A value is, if it's not 1, I want to divide all the numbers by that. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to divide by 8 on every chunk, including the 0. Technically, it just won't really do anything. Okay, so we've got 8 divided by 8, which cancels and gives me what number? X squared, which is 1x squared, right? Okay, what's a negative 16 divided by 8? Negative 2, and it's an x, and then negative 8 equals 0. Okay, is it in ABC order? Does it have a 1? Okay, so completing the square says you're going to move the C term. Which one is the C? The plain number, which is negative 8. If I move it across, what do I have to do to the sign? Change it. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. That cancels. I'm left with 1x squared minus 2x equals 8. Okay, now you need to fill in this hole right here to make a perfect square just on this side. In order to get that, I have to take half of this number and square it. Okay, so the box here, hold on just a second. Okay, so to get this box, you're also going to put one over here. Okay, the box is going to be whatever that equals B divided by 2, and you square it. Okay, so if we get that, half of 2 is 1. Now what's 1 squared? So, and then when you square a number, it always turns into a positive. So it's going to be positive 1 here and positive 1 over here. Okay, now I'm going to go into I want to factor. So what you had to do is if you factored this by trinomials, you're going to notice it's a perfect square, which is going to give you the same answer, so I could square it. Okay, you bring down the x, and you bring down the sign of this term right here. What sign is that? Negative. So a negative goes in the parentheses, and in order to get this part right here, okay, so the circle is going to equal just b divided by 2. So in order to do that, b was negative 2. What's half of negative 2? Negative 1. I've already got the minus, so 1 goes here. Okay, then you're just going to simplify this side over here. What's 8 plus 1? 9. So I bring down the equals. That equals 9. Okay, so if we look here, we've got a parentheses squared. How can I get rid of that square on the parentheses? Square root it. So I want to square root both sides. Okay, the square root will cancel the square. You're left with, good, x minus 1, because the parentheses are now gone, equals, is it just 3? Has to be a, There you go. Plus or minus. You've got to put that plus or minus. If you forget the plus or minus, you won't get 2 answers. Okay, last step, or almost to the end, what do I do to get x by itself? What do I do to get x by itself? Add 1 to cancel this, but where does that 1 go? Good. It has to go in front of the plus or minus. It does not go with the 3. Okay, so we get x equals 1 plus or minus 3. Now you do your 2 cases. You're going to do the plus, which would be x equals 1 plus 3, which would give us x equals 4 for the final answer. Then you're going to do the minus, which is x equals 1 minus 3, which gives us negative 2. So we have x equals negative 2 for the final answer. Okay? Any questions on that? No. Good.